Now, BBC Two with Radio 1 goes live to Wembley Stadium to join some of the world's greatest stars who are appearing in a special tribute dedicated to the memory of Freddie Mercury to raise AIDS awareness worldwide. Our presenters there are Anthony Wilson and Lisa Ianson.
Wembley Stadium prepares itself for one of those celebrations. 72,000 packed inside, tens of thousands are still arriving, and 500 million people watching on TV, on satellite around the world. A very good afternoon. Freddie Mercury died of AIDS in November of last year. Love and respect for the man, together with a passionate commitment to do something about the disease, has led to this event. Some of the great names in world rock music, from U2 and Guns N' Roses to Elton John, David Bowie, Lisa Minnelli, and many more. Today they will perform in honor of the man himself, Freddie Mercury, and also collectively to combat the disease which so tragically took away the life of one of rock and roll's great performers.
Love of my life, don't leave. You've stolen my love, you now desert me. Love of my life, and pray back, oh, take it away from me. You know what it means to me.
Well, this is really exciting because we're backstage here where all the celebrities are hanging out, and I'm talking to Paul Young. Paul, what do you think Freddie Mercury would have made about today's event?
Well, as Freddie loved the spectacle, I think he would have enjoyed it.
And you personally, are you looking forward to today?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it very much.
In one word or a few sentences, sum up what he meant to you.
Well, Freddie to me was the ultimate performer, because I mean, although I grew up with their music, the thing for me about Freddie was he was such an all-time great performer. That's what I like the best about him.
Wonderful. Paul Young, thanks very much and good luck for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lisa. For 500 million people around the world, the concert begins now with only one possible theme tune, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
On stage now, we're going to join the remaining members of Queen, Roger Taylor, John Deacon, and Brian May.
Work and dreams of one Freddie Mercury. We're going to give him the biggest send-off in history.
Okay, today's for Freddie. It's for you. It's to tell everybody around the world that AIDS affects us all. That's what these red ribbons are all about. You can cry as much as you like. John's got something to tell you.
Hello. First of all, Brian, Roger and myself would like to thank all the artists who are performing here today in London. And they've given their time and energy to make this tribute to Freddie a reality and to happen today. First of all, the show must go on, and we'll start with an American band, 3 times Grammy Award winners. Please welcome Metallica.
All right, that was Metallica, and James Hetfield will be back in the second half of this concert. One of the surprise packages, together with all those other surprise packages, George Michael, Elton John, David Bowie, Liza Minnelli, and many others. For now, though, while we make a brief pause to change over for Extreme, the new happening metal act, we thought we'd take a look at the man himself. Freddie Mercury once described himself as being as gay as a daffodil. Remarkable phraseology. He was, of course, one of the wild, outrageous performers of rock, but occasionally he calmed down.
Well, this is unreal because so I'm literally above 72,000 people. We're now going to see a band who pride themselves on their live show, and you can assess whether that's the case or not. They'll be supporting Bryan Adams on the European leg of his forthcoming tour. It is, of course, Extreme, and here's Roger Taylor from Queen.
To introduce our next guests. Seems to be a certain amount of noise going on here. These guys are real friends, and they're possibly more than any other group on this planet the people that understand exactly what Queen have been about all these years and what Freddie was about all these years. Ladies and gentlemen, please give your best welcome for Paul, Pat, Nuno and Gary, Extreme!
All right, that was Extreme from Boston, and with me, extremely from Dublin, is Mr. Bob Geldof.
Hello.
Bob, 7 years ago here, Queen, Freddie Mercury was amazing at Live Aid.
Yeah.
When you arranged to have him on, did you know he was going to do that kind of show?
Well, he was fairly difficult, and as the number of countries that were participating accelerated, he just couldn't resist, you know, like, and the whole thing was down to size. He would do it if it was huge.
Well, it seemed that whenever he had a huge audience, the bigger the number of people, the more amazing the performance.
And they had it down, I mean, really down. Like, I mean, they were absolutely perfect at the day, I think, you know. Sound like a footballer.
They blew everybody away. Tell me, we know what your Live Aid did for Aid to Ethiopia. What can this concert for AIDS awareness do for the AIDS campaign?
Well, I don't think the audience watching really will be made any more aware. It might be a reminder that I think most people are fairly familiar with the consequences of their actions sexually at this point, or hypodermically or whatever. I think it's more like a testimonial match, you know, and Wembley is a great place for testimonials, and no better man to have it, you know.
And very briefly, the consequences of this amazing Catherine Hamnet suitor. You're going to sing what kind of a song later on?
Well, I think I'll sing a Cajun song, because Freddie and I used to stay up late into the night, him speaking fluent Gaelic and talking about, you know, indigenous music, and I'm going to sing a song that we wrote together.
I think I'm looking forward to it, Bob. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking so. All right, some words there from Bob Geldof, some more words of tribute now from the rock pantheon, words about Freddie Mercury.
There's so few people really behind the glamour and behind all this stuff who really make it, you know, who really make it as true performers. It's a very strange, thoroughbred condition to be a successful musician and still be able to project with confidence. And I think Freddie had that, and there's not many people who have had it.
We will rock you.
Definitely one of the greatest performers that ever lived, I think. I mean, his ability to deliver a vocal is second to none.
We will rock you.
For me, he represents a sort of era where people were less afraid, I guess, of living life to the full, if you like. You know, this was the time in the 70s, if you like, where rock extravagances went berserk, and perhaps we're not living in that. We're not living in that time anymore, you know. And there was a sort of glorious kind of rebelliousness about it, and a kind of freedom attached to it that represents that whole spirit of rock and roll, if you like.
We will rock you.
Quite simply, he was one of the most important figures in rock and roll over the last 20 years.
Thank you, Elton John. The word that constantly comes to mind when people talk about Freddie Mercury is that he was a performer. He said himself that the bigger the audience, the more the surge of energy. Give him 350,000 in Rio, he would give you the deal. One sometimes wondered, though, whether he would ever want to do a small gig. In fact, someone once asked him in the course of one of his occasional interviews whether or not he would like to do a modest, small audience kind of performance.
See how hard it is?
Well, Freddie Mercury was undoubtedly a very great performer, and he must have influenced many of the artists performing here today. I'm here with Spinal Tap, and I can't really cope. Guys, what effect did he have on you?
Well, it's Talking Gum. It's Nigel's Talking Gum. Yeah. Well, that was not an influence. Freddie did not influence that. But we certainly influenced my use of the one-piece outfit that I used for about 3 years in the early 70s. And then decided it was either keep wearing it or lose weight, and I decided to put it in the closet.
Brought operatic grandeur back to rock and roll where it belonged, and that, of course, encouraged us to get symphonic and pretentious on our own.
Yeah.
And the idea of harmony, that you can sing more than one note.
At the same time.
Very confusing.
Yeah, it never occurred to us before.
Well, guys, listen, a bit of a delicate question, but I wanted to ask you about your after-concert activities and obviously AIDS these days. Now, how's this affected all your groupie situations? Because you're really sexy guys.
Oh, thanks very much.
He's married, so
I'm married.
it's a waste.
I'm out of the loop, so to speak.
You dare with your famous moustache.
Well, we say these days you've got to be careful in your excess, so double bag it at all times.
Yeah, you've got to double bag it. Paper and plastic, basically.
Well, that's it. Thank you very much, Spinal Tap. From a group who reformed last year to a group who haven't been on stage together since 1988. I'm talking, of course, about Def Leppard, originally from Sheffield, based in America. They're massive worldwide. And here's Roger Taylor from Queen to introduce them. Here I go.
Well done.
That's in the house. You don't have this in the monitors up here. You lost this.
Well, I must apologise for that. We thought we were about to see Def Leppard, but apparently their drum kit's gone missing. Maybe Spinal Tap had something to do with it. So in the meantime, we're going to see a 1986 Queen video. It's called It's a Hard Life, and it certainly is.